Welcome, my name is Rebecca and I'm a parent consultant for the Utah Parent Center. Oftentimes parents share with me the struggles they face in managing the behaviors of their children with disabilities. My husband and I also understand these unique challenges. We have been blessed with two amazing children. Our oldest has several significant disabilities, including a behavior disorder. Working together as a family, we have implemented the strategies of positive behavior interventions and supports and have found success in teaching our daughter positive, more socially acceptable ways to work through conflict. The following modules will teach positive, proactive methods to guide you as you shape your own child's behavior. Module 1. Improve your child's life and future using positive behavior, interventions, and supports. Positive behavior, interventions, and supports, or PBIS, are principles that help all children improve their behavior at school, at home, and in the community. The benefits are enormous. When children are in positive, predictable, consistent environments, they have better grades, better behavior, higher self-esteem, better school attendance, greater motivation, and more success in life. Schools practice PBIS. As a parent, you can too. This presentation will show you how to use positive approaches to teach your child new behavior skills to use at home and in the community. These skills will be important throughout the life of your child. Researchers have spent years studying behavior and how to influence it. They've found by understanding the reason for the problem behavior, a new, more appropriate response can be developed. PBIS is based on this research and requires just 3 steps. The first step is to teach the expected behaviors. Step 2, recognize and reward them when they occur. Third, consistently enforce meaningful consequences when they don't occur. Like many parents, you may have found that repeated punishment does not teach your child more socially appropriate behaviors. That is because punishment is just a response to the inappropriate behavior. It does not teach a replacement behavior. Children will continue to use a behavior even if it's inappropriate, as long as it helps them meet a need. For example, a younger child who wants your attention may continually interrupt you whenever you are on the phone. Why? It works. You respond, even though it may be negative attention. The behavior is reinforced, and your child is likely to do it again. Changing that behavior using PBIS is a better solution. You might, for example, plan an activity with your child before your phone call. Explain that he or she can continue the activity while you're on the phone, and that once you are off the call, you will continue the activity together. Positive behavior interventions and supports is a systematic approach to behavior instruction and management. Social behaviors can be taught in the same way as academic skills are taught. PBIS emphasizes 3 keys to changing behavior. First, teach the child what behavior you expect. Second, provide consistent recognition for positive behaviors. Catching the new behavior when it happens and providing meaningful, positive incentives will reinforce the expected behavior. Finally, enforce meaningful consequences. Procedures for responding to challenging behavior should be consistent. To teach expected behaviors, start by identifying what is important to your family, and then establish some simple rules. Here are some examples. Is it important for everyone to be safe? What does that mean in your family? For younger children, being safe might mean telling an adult when they are leaving the yard. For middle school children, it might mean telling an adult if they are going to a friend's house after school. For high school students, it might mean coming home by curfew. Is it important to be responsible? What does that mean in your family? For younger children, responsibility might include setting the table. For middle school children, it might mean walking and feeding the dog. And for high schoolers, it might mean mowing the lawn. Is it important to be respectful? What does that mean in your family? For younger children, respect might mean saying please and thank you. For middle school children, it might mean speaking in a normal voice tone even when they are upset. And for high school students, it might mean talking through a disagreement and working towards a solution. Providing examples of inappropriate behavior may also be helpful in clarifying expectations. You might, for example, demonstrate to your middle school child the difference between a calm tone of voice and an upset tone. Plan to reteach the expectations over a period of time. Reteaching helps to reinforce the new behavior through practice. When you clearly state the expectations, provide examples of appropriate and inappropriate behavior, and reteach your expectations regularly. This way, your child will understand what behaviors are expected. Once your child has learned a new behavior at home, you can help him or her explore ways to apply it in a variety of places. For example, if you expect your young child to tell an adult before leaving the yard, also expect him or her to do the same when visiting someone else's yard. If you expect your middle school child to use a normal voice tone when upset, also encourage him or her to practice and use that skill when disagreeing with peers. If you expect your high school child to be responsible about mowing the lawn, expand that expectation to be responsible about snow blowing in the winter. By stating the behavior in terms of what you want to see, such as, I appreciate that you told Jeremy's mom you were leaving to go to the park, or I really like the way you explained to Sue what you were upset about. You are emphasizing the positive, desirable behavior. Modeling the expected behaviors yourself will help your child learn. Making comments while you are practicing the new behavior helps your child make the connection. For example, saying, "Let's set the table together tonight," models the expected behavior, and saying, "Thanks for setting the table," reinforces both respect and responsibility. Even though an expected behavior has been taught or even used occasionally, it won't automatically become a habit. Habits take time and practice to cultivate. Be conscientious and deliberate about teaching the expected behaviors. Keeping the expectation positive is equally important to success. Teaching and modeling new behavior can help children learn what to do, but it's not enough to change their behavior. Research shows that you also need to recognize children's positive behaviors 4 times more often than you note their negative behaviors. So how will you recognize your child's appropriate behavior? Some people create incentives that involve the entire family. They might, for example, keep a chart that shows each time respectful behaviors are used, and then plan a family outing when the chart is full. Others might have specific incentives for each child. For example, If your son is learning to set the table without being reminded, he might earn 10 points every time he remembers. Once he reaches 50 points, he can have an agreed upon reward. However you decide to reward positive behaviors, be consistent and conscientious to motivate your child. Learning new behaviors takes time, and sometimes there are slip-ups. Just as your child knows there will be rewards for positive behaviors, he or she should know that there will be meaningful consequences for negative behaviors. Logical consequences should be stated clearly in advance, be understood, be enforced consistently, and apply to everyone in the family. For example, if the expectation is that homework must be completed before your child can watch TV, the consequence for not finishing homework should be related to watching TV rather than to another privilege, such as going to a friend's house. By teaching your child skills, rewarding appropriate behavior, and enforcing consequences, problem behavior will be reduced over time, sometimes quite dramatically. Through your careful planning and by being consistent and deliberate, you can help your child learn appropriate behavior skills that will contribute to a more harmonious home life and influence good behavior at school and in the community.